Hello.
Hello, we are live.
Welcome to Streamland. Yes.
Yeah, so we are both Joy Business facilitators, and the Joy Business facilitators are doing a series on 10 things that will make the money come and come and come. So, our topic that we wanted to talk about is stop being invested in the outcome and giving up belief in success, failure, needs, and wants, which are also in the Business Done Different class and in the Getting Out of Debt Joyfully class.
And how many of you, when you start a project, you start like with this great idea, and then suddenly you start putting all these projections and expectations of how is it going to look, what are the results that you're gonna gain, what happens if you get those results, maybe they'll open like different doors for something greater. And when it doesn't exactly go your way, do you either like use another tool, do another question, or do you go into I'm a total failure, this didn't work, and you just like make it all you try to make it like go away and just don't see like the actual gift that's under all of that?
Yeah, and I know, it's amazing how, if you're anything that you're creating, whether you have a business of your own or you're involved in something else, or it could just be in your life, it's so easy to go into those projections and expectations, and that always sets you up for, like, if you are projecting onto something and you're expecting something from somebody or something, there's an automatic, like, it sets you up for rejection, separation, and judgment. Like, that's kind of part of the deal. And it's amazing for me, just having been in business for so long, like seeing how how many different ways I've done that over the years, and also like how much courage it takes to really like have the presence uh to keep going, like keep asking another question, like not go to it's a failure, it didn't work, my expectations weren't met, but like to really continue to be in that generative space where we're like, okay, well, now what can I create?
Mhm. Yeah, because how many times you think that it's you actually failed and what you gained was so much information that you wouldn't have gotten if you had not gone through that process? Like, say that you start a business and you have this idea that this business will give you X amount of money per month. That's why you started it. That's your expectation, right? And then say that that amount of money doesn't actually show up, but all of the process, everything that you went through in order to start developing that business, what information did you gain from there? What awareness was available to you, when you started it, that contributed exactly to shift things in order for you to get greater, in order for you to develop like that project more? Um it might seem like sometimes like a failure, but definitely, like, if you look at the underlying energy of that, it's like, what else is there, what gift is there when those kind of things happen?
Mm,
And what if you weren't wrong with that?
yeah, yeah. Well, and one of the things I've been looking at lately is where, like, how much I justify things, like in ways that I didn't even realize, to myself, uh, and sometimes to others. But that conversation right there, I've had so many moments of where I've had that conversation with myself and other people, and also so many moments where I was like so tired of hearing that, like, "Ah, all right, yeah, yeah, whatever, I learned." But I realized recently that that when like you can use that as a justification, and be like, well, I learned something from it, so it's fine. And that's when we're lying to ourselves. I mean, not that you didn't learn something from it, but it's amazing to look really from a perspective of choice and be like, okay, you know, if I didn't have to justify and I didn't have to provide reasons to myself or anybody else for anything going on, like it allows you to move so much faster and to be like, great, well, what can I choose now? And not get stuck in all of that stuff. Because I think we get stuck in that where we're like, yeah, I learned so much. And I've gotten to a point where I roll my eyes at myself sometimes when I go there because I'm like, yeah, I know. That's sort of like an old story. And yes, it's true. And what else can I choose now? What can I choose now? What can I choose now? That is a very different way of functioning.
The whole I learned something, you sometimes use it like there, like nothing happened. Like I'm
Yeah.
still, I still did something. And you try to convince yourself that it was okay. But if you, like you say, like if you don't stay there and
Yeah.
you actually use the tool,
Yeah.
not as a justification, there's a whole lot of things that can come out from that.
Yeah, totally. Totally. It's amazing. Like the tools of access consciousness and joy of business, like there's so many subtle ways that we can use them against us, and they're not meant to be used like that, of course. And there's a lot of nuances, and I think that's one of my favorite things about creation and exploring these spaces is like we get to have more awareness all the time, and an old tool can seem absolutely brand new any moment if you have new awareness and new information about it. It's really cool. And business and creation to me is like it's such a vehicle for bringing ourselves to the world and for bringing our creations to the world. And when we really see it that way, we take the focus off of the money. It's amazing how you just keep going and moving and growing and having more awareness and more clarity and more choice, more just pure choice. And the money does follow. It's just done in such a different way than most people think is how you do things.
Yeah. And you can ask any question really. You don't really need like the question to take you out of where you think you are stuck. It's something as easy as what else is possible here?
Yeah.
What else is possible with this? I don't know, with this shithole I have put myself into.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Well, yeah, and that question alone, that can be like a rejection of something like, what else is possible? It's not really a question. But if you're like, okay, next, what else is possible? The universe, show me. That's that question alone, or how does it get better than this? Like those questions can explode doors wide open, and it's amazing. Like you don't, there's a million tools in access consciousness and joy of business, and you don't have to know all of them. You don't have to use all of them. If you use one of them really elegantly, it can change so much. It's incredible.
Yeah. And these questions are, you might think that what else is possible? Oh, I've heard it so many times, but it really is a question that could just change the whole situation.
Yeah.
It like you say, we have so many tools in Access, and in Joy of Business, you can use them in so many ways. Just like the Joy of Business book has so many clearings that you can use. But if you find yourself like in those situations where I'm stuck, I don't know what to do, whatever tool comes to mind, like what else is possible, can be something that could just change things completely. And we use them all the time.
Yeah.
It's not like we have special tools that you only get after years and years of being in joy of business. It's like, no.
Oh man. No, I always like I'm always fascinated with how much taking a lot of advanced classes and stuff like that. And it's like I become more of the most basic tools, like even the other day I had this incredible awareness of the tool, interesting point of view. That is probably my favorite tool that I use all the time. And I had a completely different awareness of the power of that tool. And that's one of the most powerful tools for creation that I've found. And I was just like, wow, I didn't think I thought I knew so much about this tool. I thought I was being so much of this tool, and then I went, wow, like this door opened and it was like a whole new universe. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is cool.
I love it when you like after years of hearing a tool and using the tool,
Yeah.
you suddenly get like to a new awareness and you're like, this is incredible. I can't believe
Yeah.
this actually works.
I know. It's so cool. And just, I think for me, like being steeped in these conversations is such a huge part of that, because if you just go out and you're like living your life as like a normal person, you don't run into a lot of these types of conversations and the ones that we have in classes. And it's like that, there's a diligence that I've seen of like, my own choice to put myself in these conversations as much as possible, and to have them with myself all day long and with as many people as I can. That has been such a huge part of just being able to embody this stuff, and because it really is such a completely different way of functioning. And if we look at like getting out of debt joyfully and you know, creating income streams and money flows. It's like it's a different universe, and we have to be educated. We have to educate ourselves. We have to have experience with these tools. And that's just a gift that we can give ourselves by choosing that.
Yeah. So the question here is, are you willing to choose it? Are you
Yeah.
willing to ask a question, right?
Yeah. And what are you willing to choose? Like we can choose. Choice is a big conversation, but we can I mean, one of the things I ask a lot is just, what can I choose today that I've never considered before,
That's a great one. Yeah.
because that alone just starts to bring you new awareness of things and new choices and different choices. And it's never about figuring it out. But it is about just being curious of like, okay, well, if every single day I'm asking new questions and making new choices, then there's a lot of generative flow that ends up showing up in all, as so many things that we're asking for, including money, but so much more as well.
Yeah. So what can you choose today? What is available for you that you think is not available for you? And what would it take for you to just do it? Yeah. Even so, it might seem that we're asking you guys a question, but it's really like I'm asking the question for myself.
Yeah, totally. And
Yeah.
offering it to anybody who would like to play with that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Thanks everybody for being with us. Thank you, Ninfis.
Thank you,
And
Taylor. This was
yeah,
fun.
I know. Bye for now.
Goodbye.